namaskrityam
Narayanam namaskrityam
naram chaiva narottamam.
Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Today 46, sir.
Huh?
46, sir. It was done previous week.
Yes. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Chayamudirayet
Tato Jayam Udire
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Ruttama Sloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, Verse 46. Tasya nirharanadhini
Tasya Nirahara Nadini
Sampare Tasya Bhargava
Samparetasya Bhargava
Yudhishthira Itva
Yudhishthira Kadaiteva
Muhurtam Dukkito Bhavat
Muhurtam Dukkhito Bhavat
Tasya nirharanadhini
Tasya Nirhara Nadini
Sampare Tasya Bhargava
Samparetasya Bhargava
Yudhishthira Karayitva
Yudhishthira Kadaitva
Muhurtam Dukkito Bhavat
Muhurtam Dukkhito Bhavat
Tasya nirharana adini
Tasya Nirhara Nadini
Nirharanadhini
Sampretasya Bhargava
Samparetasya Bhargava
Yudhishthira Kara Itva
Yudhishthira Kadaitva
Muhurtam Dushito Bhavat
Muhurtam Dukkhito Bhavat.
Translation purport by Stephen Grace Avicharnaranda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai!
Synonyms: Tasya, his.
Tasya his
Nirharanadini, funeral ceremony.
Nirhara Nadini funeral ceremony.
Sampare tasya, of the dead body.
Samparetasya of the dead body.
Bhargava, O descendant of Bhrigu.
Bhargava, or descendant of Bhrigu.
Yudhishthira, Maharaja Yudhishthira.
Yudhishthira, Maharaja Yudhishthira.
Karayitva, having performed it.
Kadaitva, having performed it.
Muhurtam, for a moment.
Muhurtam, for a moment.
Dukkita, sorry.
Dukkhita, sorry.
Abhavat, became.
Abhavat, became.
Translation, please repeat after me. O descendant of Bhrigu Shaunaka,
O descendant of Bhrigu Shaunaka,
after performing funeral rituals for the dead body of Bhishma Deva,
after performing funeral rituals for the dead body of Bhishma Deva,
Maharaja Yudhishthira was momentarily overtaken with grief.
Maharaja Yudhishthira was momentarily overtaken with grief.
Purport.
Purport. Bhishma Deva was not only a great family head of Maharaja Yudhishthira, but also he was a great philosopher and friend to him, his brothers and his mother. Since Maharaja Pandu, the father of the 5 brothers headed by Maharaja Yudhishthira, had died, Bhishma Deva was the most affectionate grandfather of the Pandavas and caretaker of the widow daughter-in-law Kunti Devi. Although Maharaja Dhritarashtra, the elder uncle of Maharaja Yudhishthira, was there to look after them, his affection was more on the side of his 100 sons headed by Duryodhana. Ultimately, a colossal clique was fabricated to deprive the 5 fatherless brothers of the rightful claim of the kingdom of Hastinapura. There was great intrigue common in imperial palaces, and the five brothers were exiled to the wilderness. But Bhishma Deva was always a sincerely sympathetic well-wisher grandfather, friend, and philosopher to Maharaja Yudhishthira, even up to the last moment of his life. He died very happily by seeing Maharaja Yudhishthira to the throne. Otherwise, he would have long ago quitted his material body instead of suffering agony over the undue sufferings of the Pandavas. He was simply waiting for the opportune moment because he was sure and certain that the sons of Pandu would come out victorious on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, as his lordship Sri Krishna was their protector. As a devotee of the Lord, he knew that the Lord's devotee cannot be vanquished at any time. Maharaja Yudhishthira was quite aware of all these good wishes of Bhishma Deva, and therefore he must have been feeling the great separation. He was sorry for the separation of a great soul, and not for the material body which Bhishma Deva relinquished. The funeral ceremony was a necessary duty, although Bhishma Deva was a liberated soul. Since Bhishma Deva was without issue, the eldest grandson, namely Maharaja Yudhishthira, was the rightful person to perform this ceremony. It was a great boon to Bhishma Deva that an equally great son of the family undertook the last rites of a great man.
Jai. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Jnanata Virandasya Jnanajana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaha Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jaya Pathaka Swamin Iti Namine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradayine Gaurakata Damadhaya Nagara Grama Tarine Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavad Paschatya Desatharini Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudanam Mukam Karodi Vachalam Pangam Langai Tegirim Yab Kripa Tamham Mande Sri Gurum Devatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. So here Srila Prabhupada very beautifully explains in the purport that the cause of the grief momentarily overtaken the Yudhishthira Maharaj is vividly explained. And here Sutta Goswami is speaking to Saunaka Rishis. And Srila Prabhupada says that Bhishma Deva, in fact, there is no limit to the glorification of Bhishma Deva as a pure devotee of Krishna. and a personal associate of Krishna, who is a Mahajana and who has exemplarily demonstrated how to quit the body in this material world to make this the last birth. He has practically demonstrated, physically demonstrated, mentally demonstrated, despite his body was, very precarious situation. Full body was holed with, arrows, and he was lying on the arrow bed. He cannot even move his body. So that was the very worst case scenario. His body was lying on the arrow bed. And in such a situation, how to still, whatever may happen to the body, but how to quit the body in Krishna consciousness, an exemplary, demonstration, practically, Bhishma Dev has given. His glories knows no bound. And what to speak of, we ourselves feel so much affection and respect, awe and reverence towards Bhishma Deva by simply hearing the pastime of his remembering the pastime of Krishna in his life is so great. Then what to speak of Pandava family, whose direct well-wisher was Bhishma Dev, and who was from the very beginning was the philosopher, their great-grandfather, and not only to Yudhishthira, but to his mother, as well as other brothers also. So when Bhishma Deva died, it was very natural that the ever most affectionate grandfather of the Pandavas, the true caretaker of the Kunti Devi, all good qualities imposed upon him, and he was always being the well-wisher of Pandavas, whether the Pandavas physically present in the palace or in the forest. He was always thinking of their well-wishing. And he was so eager to see when will this Yudhishthira take over. He knows that very beginning, because he's a pure devotee, and he knows that nothing can stop the dharma to be re-established. Yada yadai dharmasya glanir. So Sri Krishna, as he spoken in Bhagavad Gita, will anyway re-establish dharma. And this is well known to the Bhishma Dev. And Bhishma Dev was waiting for that moment, when will Yudhishthira actually take the charge? And when will Krishna do that re-establishment of the dharma? Because it was intolerable to Bhishma Dev, the suffering of Pandus in the forest, fatherless children, along with their mother, and the children were very small, and they were in the forest. How it could be tolerated to an affectionate grandfather who is a true well-wisher of such persons? This is called mercy. So otherwise, out of intolerable pain by Paradukha Dukhi, out of intolerable pain of Pandava's suffering, Bhishma Dev wanted to die. Actually, he would have quit his body much earlier. But he wanted to see that how beautifully Krishna will rethrone Yudhishthira Maharaj to be the emperor of the world. So he wanted to, witness that, and happily he wanted to leave the body. So that was one of the reasons why Bhishma Dev was holding on that body for such a long duration. And so very beautiful narration that Srila Prabhupada is giving here, that how much Bhishma Dev was worried. He was more worried of the Pandus and Yudhishthira Maharaja's throning, rather than worrying about Hastinapura, that who will rule the Hastinapura. Okay, so there is you can see the internal and external desire of Bhishma Dev very clearly here. Okay, the internal desire is he wants Krishna to rethrone Yudhishthira Maharaj there. And wherein externally, okay, I will not give up my body as long as Hastinapura has not got the right king. That was only external. The true well-wisher, he is the true well-wisher of the 5 brothers, especially when they were exiled to the wilderness of the forest. He was feeling so much pain, Bhishma Dev. And He was a friend, he was grandfather, he was a philosopher of Maharaja Yudhishthira. Even till last moment of death, you can see that how much affectionately he was speaking to Maharaja Yudhishthira, and he has clarified all the doubts that even Krishna did not clarify to Yudhishthira. So Bhishma Dev has died. So he died very happily. That okay, Maharaja Yudhishthira back to throne. So let me go back to God. So it's very, very simple. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, that is why he could not tolerate the sufferings. Yeah.
First 1946.
Mouse is not found. Yes. So this here, Prabhupada is stating that he died very happily by seeing Maharaj Yudhishthira to the throne. Otherwise, he would have long ago quitted his material body instead of suffering agony over the undue sufferings of the Pandavas. Because he can't tolerate Pandavas' suffering. And he was waiting for this one. When will Krishna ensure Pandu become victorious? And Krishna was the protector, so he was very sure. Devotee knows what Krishna will do, because devotee knows Bhagavad Gita, he lives Bhagavad Gita. And in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Name Bhakta Pranashyati. So Bhishma Deva, being a pure devotee, he knows very well that Name Bhakta Pranashyati, Krishna's devotee will never be vanquished. So this is the beauty. And Maharaja Yudhishthira is not an ordinary person, nevertheless. He was equally know about the Bhishma Deva and Lord Krishna and everything. So why did Maharaja Yudhishthira knows everything. That means Maharaja Yudhishthira, nevertheless, is not on the bodily concept of life. Okay. If he would have been on the bodily concept of life, by seeing Bhishma Deva in a precarious condition of full of arrow bed and blood is oozing out and he was in the fainting state, he would have cried loudly for his body. He would have not asked a philosophical question at the time. Understand? So Maharaja Yudhishthira also in a very pure consciousness that he is not in the bodily concept of life. He knows Bhishma Deva is not that body. But still, why he felt the grief momentarily is because of Vipralamba Bhava. The separation of a great devotee is not generally tolerable to the devotees. Like we have felt this particular pang of pain on the Tirobhav of the Srila Prabhupada just a day ago, on Saturday. So we felt how deeply that Prabhupada has touched everyone's heart. And, so we didn't want to leave his association, but thank God Prabhupada is so exalted that despite equity's body, he is able to give us association through his books. That is the exalted, wonderful glory of Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Prabhupada is still living through his books and he is able to give us association. Okay. So here Maharaja Yudhishthira was feeling separation from the association of Bhishma Deva. So that is way. Not that because of the body, Yudhishthira Maharaj is lamenting. No, absolutely not. Prabhupada is, clarifying that it is because of the feeling of separation, because Bhishma Dev is going back to Godhead, leaving Yudhishthira behind with the whole heavy responsibility on his shoulder. So Yudhishthira can't move away. So that is why he was very sorry, because of the separation of the great soul and not for the material body, because material body Bhishma Dev himself has relinquished. Okay, so what to speak of lamenting on that body? So this is the position of Yudhishthira. And funeral ceremony, of course, now it is Bhishma Panchaga is coming on 4th, another few days, 3 days more, and we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 days Bhishma Panchaga. During this time, since Bhishma was a Naistika Brahmachari, all the devotees of the Lord, and he is the son of Ganga, Ganga Devi. So all the devotees of the Lord go to the Ganges on this particular 5 days, take bath and do the Bhishma Darpana and the Bhishma Pranama Mantra and Bhishma, Archana or whatever. So these things, they are done by our, ISKCON devotees especially. So they are respecting Bhishma Dev because Bhishma Dev had no father to perform such funeral ceremony or Darpana and all.
Son, not father, son.
Son. Yeah, he didn't have the son. All of the pure devotees consider themselves the son of Bhishma Dev, and Bhishma Dev gladly accepted. Mother Ganga will be most pleased when we perform this for Bhishma Dev, her son, in Ganga. So these are all, again, of course, we do this, but then it is, we are only benefited out of it. By doing this is the beauty of Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas will always benefit those who are in contact with the Vaishnava, either directly or indirectly. Bhishma Dev anyway was a liberated soul from the very beginning. He's a Mahajana, he's a great authority. One of the 12 Mahajanas placed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj recommends. So that is the reason why we are doing the Bhishma Darpana. So the reason is mentioned here by Srila Prabhupada that since Bhishma Deva was without issue, the eldest grandson, so the bigger son is not there, so grandson Maharaja Yudhishthira was the rightful person for the ceremony. So Bhishma Darpana now being carried out by all of the ISKCON devotees. So this is the thing. Another glory to Bhishma Deva is that the great son of the family undertook the last rites of a great man. Pure devotees like Guru Maharaj are performing the Darpana of Bhishma. It's not an ordinary thing. It's a great glory to Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev ki jai. Let's go to the next verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 47. Tushtuvurmunayo Hrishta.
Tushtuvur munayo hrishta.
Krishnam tad guhyanamabhi.
Krishnam tat guhya namabhi.
Tataste Krishna Hridaya.
Tataste
Krishna hridaya.
Swasraman prayayu puna.
Prashraman prayayu puna.
Tushtuvurmunayo Hrishta.
Tushtuvur munayo hrishta.
Krishnam tad guhyanamabhi.
Krishnam tad guhya namabhi.
Tataste Krishna Hridaya.
Tataste Krishna hridaya.
Swasraman prayayu puna.
Swasraman prayayu puna.
Tushtivyur munayo
Tushtuvur munayo hrishta.
Krishnam tad guhyanamabhi.
Krishnam tad
Krishnam tat guhya
guhyanamabhi.
namabhi.
Tataste Krishna hridaya.
Tataste Krishna
Tataste Krishna
Hridaya.
hridaya.
Vasraman prayayu puna.
Swasraman
Swasraman
prayayu
prayayu
puna.
puna.
Synonyms. Tushtuvu, satisfied.
Tushtuvu,
Satisfied.
Munaya, the great sages headed by Vyasadeva, etc.
Munaya, the great sages headed by Vyasadeva, etc.
Krishta, all in a happy mood.
Krishna,
Krishna, all in happy mood.
Krishnam unto Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead.
Krishnam
unto Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead.
Tat, his.
That his
That is
Guhya, confidential.
Guhya,
confidential.
Namabhi, by his holy name,
Namabhi, by his holy name, etc.
etc. Tata, thereafter.
Tatha, thereafter.
Te, they.
They.
Krishna Hridaya, persons who always bear Lord Sri Krishna in their hearts.
Krishna Hridaya, persons who always bear Lord Krishna in their hearts.
Swa Asraman, to their respective hermitages.
Ashraman, to their respective hermitages.
Returned Sorry. Prayayu returned.
You returned.
Puna again.
Puna again.
Translation, please repeat after me. All the great sages then glorified Lord Sri Krishna,
All the great sages then glorified Lord Krishna,
who was present there by confidential Vedic hymns.
who was present there by confidential Vedic hymns.
Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages.
Then all of them returned to their respective hermitages,
Bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts.
bearing always Lord Krishna within their hearts.
This is the result of Srimad Bhagavatam class. After the class, people in the morning, people go bearing Lord Krishna in their hearts. By the time next morning comes, owing to many activities, they would have forgotten for a few moments. They again come to the Bhagavatam class. Krishna. Purport.
The devotees of the Lord are always in the heart of the Lord, and the Lord is always in the hearts of the devotees. That is the sweet relation between the Lord and his devotees. Due to unalloyed love and devotion for the Lord, the devotees always see him within themselves, and the Lord also. Although he has nothing to do and nothing to aspire to, is always in attending to the welfare of his devotees. For the ordinary living beings, the law of nature is there for all actions and reactions, but he is always anxious to put his devotees on the right path. The devotees, therefore, are under the direct care of the Lord, and the Lord also voluntarily puts himself under the care of his devotees only. So all the sages headed by Vyasdeva were devotees of the Lord, and therefore they chanted the Vedic hymns after the funeral ceremony just to please the Lord, who was present there personally. All the Vedas present there personally. All the Vedic hymns are chanted to please Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 15.15. All the Vedas, Upanishads, Vedanta, etc. are seeking him only, and all hymns are for glorifying him only. The sages therefore perform the exact acts suitable for the purpose, and they bodily departed for their respective hermitages.
Hari Om Tat Sat. So this is a very beautiful words that how Krishna should be carried in the heart, not as a Paramatma that he voluntarily stays. But devotee carrying is different from Lord staying there. Okay, Lord is there in the abode of, in the Vrindavana. He is there in the form of Paramatma in the hearts of all the living entities and even every atom. Okay, so we cannot say that, okay, he is carrying Lord Krishna. No. Carrying means there is a connection between the devotee and Krishna, then carries. So how does that come? That comes only when Krishna is also having the devotees in the heart. Not only, he is there in the form of Paramatma in everybody's heart. But are we in Krishna's heart is the question. That's why Prabhupada says that act in such a way that Krishna wants to see you. You don't keep trying to see Krishna. What is the use of you seeing? We have blunt eyes anyway. So what is the use of such seeing? So devotional service is the only means in order to attract Lord Sri Krishna, so that Krishna will remember us and we will never forget Krishna and after always remember Krishna. This can only happen when it is two-way communication. That's a connection. The connection, that is why it's called Bhakti Yoga. Yoga means connection to the Lord. Yoga means Ashtanga Siddhi Yoga. There is no Krishna in that. That yoga is Ashtanga Siddhi, through which they are trying to reach Krishna. Through material means, if you are trying to reach Krishna, it is impossible because na bhave grahyam indriya hai. You cannot reach Krishna through any of the blunt senses, and Krishna is called Adokshaja, is beyond the reach of all senses. So how can you reach by your jnana, which is again subtle sense, and yoga, Ashtanga Siddhi Yoga, which is gross sense. So with this, we cannot reach. We cannot reach. In the previous two verses before, we saw that even the yogi's ultimate objective is not even the Paramatma form. In interim measure, they are very good that at least have a form for Krishna and they're trying to meditate, but ultimately they also want to become impersonal Brahman merging only. So that is not recommended at all. And that's not only not recommended, that's not the way. That's not the way. That will not make your life success. But in the Kali Yuga, it's very easy by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is living even till today in giving us association and by narrating the Lord Chaitanya's pastimes on a daily basis. This is the real success. This is real success. Chanting the holy name of the Lord and hearing about Krishna. In this way, you can always hear, always carry. Guru Maharaj is trying to maintain this with all the disciples, that is giving the Lord Chaitanya book class every day, so that we can, in the morning we give we discuss the Bhagavatam class. We remember Krishna. In the evening again we hear from Guru Maharaj, Lord Chaitanya, today's Bhagavatam, which is an extended version of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is more value added, because this Bhagavatam which Guru Maharaj is narrating, he is also taking you into that Bhagavatam. Here in the morning Bhagavatam class, we may be witnessing, we may be seeing what is happening, we may be commenting on that. But in the evening Bhagavatam class, which is Chaitanya Bhagavatam, which is Lord Chaitanya's book, in that we are participating in the pastime of the Lord. Participating in the pastime of the Lord is certainly different from Shravanam Kirtanam of Vishnu. This must be very clearly understood. So, Lord will carry the devotees in his heart, and the devotees will carry the Lord in his heart. This is a situation when you have attained the never forget Krishna and always remember Krishna. You will never forget because Lord is remembering you. Okay. And you will remember Krishna always having in his heart. So having him in our heart. So this is the sweet relation. Sweet relation. This relationship is the sweeter than the sweetest. And every individually one can relish it. It's a very private and personal relationship with Krishna. This happens only due to unalloyed love and devotion for the Lord. So devotional service is the only means. So devotees are those personalities who is performing devotional service without cessation 24 hours, both day and night. So how can they forget Krishna? How can they are serving him. How can they forget Krishna? By forgetting Krishna, how can you serve if you have forgotten? How can you serve somebody whom you don't even remember? That is impossible. Devotional service means it is connected. You are connected to Krishna. That is why it's called Bhakti Yoga. So this devotional service keeps us remembering Krishna and make Krishna remember us. This both side reciprocal loving exchange, connection. The connection is truly established by means of only devotional service. And the devotional service is the way we practically experience a loving exchange between self and Krishna. So this is the very beautiful point Srila Prabhupada is giving in the purport. And, always Krishna is anxious to see to that his devotees are on the right path. This is the greatest anxiety. Krishna is Supreme Personality of God. He has no work and he has no activities and he has no any anxiety. But then he voluntarily takes up the anxiety of putting his devotees on the right path always. He is taken one service by himself. He does not give the service to anybody. That is called devotee care. So Guru Maharaj is established e-care today to take care of all his disciples, because Guru Maharaj is the perfect representative of Lord Krishna. So he can do the care. And Krishna never gave the care to anybody else. Only through his representative, Krishna will take care of the devotees. And similarly, one who can represent Krishna can only care for devotees. Otherwise, the caring is material means. That is not called caring. That is called facilitating. Facilitating is different from caring. Caring is related to soul. Facilitation is resulted to both soul and body. So Guru Maharaj is also facilitating by giving Bhagavatam class, Chaitanya class every day, so that his disciples can hear that, devotees can hear that and get benefited. This is main caring. So this is caring for the soul and facilitating both. So in this way, we need to understand what is going on scientifically by deeply analyzing the activities, not externally oversee. Okay, here there is one Bhagavatam class going on, evening Guru Maharaj is also giving class. Okay, I'll hear it, so it also, I'll hear that also. No mechanical things. Loving, affectionately, loving devotional service is the only means of maintaining the connection with Krishna. And once you have maintained the connection with Krishna, then there is no chance of leaving Krishna or giving up Krishna, forgetting Krishna, or getting into Maya. No chance at all. There is no question of Maya. There is no question of Maya. So chanting the holy name is the best available means now in performing devotional service, because by chanting the holy name, Sadahari, Kirtaniya Sadahari, you are engaged, because by chanting the holy name, we are requesting Krishna and his internal potency to please engage me in your devotional service. Just like Prabhupada says, offer a little water and tulasi, and pray that please give me intelligence to serve you nicely. And Dadami Buddhiyogam Tam, Krishna says he gives the intelligence to serve him nicely. What is the difficulty? This is a loving exchange. This is not a business. Give and take. I am giving you tulasi, you give me knowledge. No, not that. This is called a loving exchange. Offering tulasi itself is a devotional service. Offering water, patram pushpam phalam toyam, Krishna says. Offering water itself is devotional service. And in exchange, prayer. Prayer is mandatory. Prayer is not business. We must understand the difference between business and prayer. So the prayer is to please let me engage in your service nicely, for that you give me intelligence. What is wrong? So that is the mood, attitude of a devotee. And this can come only when we associate with such devotees. So glorifying Krishna by chanting the holy name pleases the senses of Krishna. In this way, you are directly coming in contact with the Krishna's senses. The moment you coming in contact with the senses of Krishna, when senses are contacted, when you feel, the feeling should be there. If the feeling is not there, senses are dead. Just like paralyzed hand, it is nonsense. It cannot feel anything. That person cannot feel his own hand. Okay, so that is paralyzed. So we are like that in Krishna unconscious. So while we become Krishna conscious, our senses will touch the sense of Krishna. That time Krishna will yield pleasure. So chanting Hare Krishna is the direct devotional service, is the direct means of, giving pleasure to Krishna. And Krishna suddenly will tell, wow, where am I enjoying from? What is coming? Oh, this person is chanting my holy name so nicely. Wow. So Krishna is pleased by simply you chant the holy name. They have got the bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And now on Prabhupada. So now when we chant Hare Krishna, our senses touches the senses of Krishna. And the moment you touch the senses of Krishna, immediately our senses are purified. Just like the sun ray, when touching that filthy place, the filthy place becoming purified. So when we chant the holy name, and through that holy name, when we touch Krishna, connect to Krishna, automatically that our senses become very much enlivened in Krishna consciousness, and you will feel the taste, name, ruchi, that will happen immediately, spontaneously. All over the body, you will feel the taste. Guru Maharaj said 2 days back, day before yesterday, I think in the Chaitanya Bhagavat class, that, No, not in Chaitanya Bhagavat class. On the Tirobhav Tithi of Srila Prabhupada, he was answering a question that, Prabhupada said that somebody asked a question that in one moment you can become Krishna consciousness. So how is it that possible practically? So please explain that in your words. So Guru Maharaj has told that, okay, Srila Prabhupada said, you have to chant like the child's cry for his mother. So that time Guru Maharaj is very explaining, if the child is simply crying, like that, mother will not be so attentive to take care of the child. Okay, he will be simply, moving like that. But when the child cries very intensely, then immediately mother will leave everything. Okay, what happened? What happened? She'll come. So that intensity of chanting, which moment you do intensity of chanting, that moment you become Krishna conscious. So very practically, Guru Maharaj has explained that how to connect to Krishna in such a very intense, within no time. It just takes a moment. It only, your intensity only matters. Krishna is already there. Is there in the holy name, is there in the form of Paramatma, is there in the form of the representative like Guru Maharaj. In so many ways is present in the form of prasadam right in front of you, in the form of deities. Where he is not there? Only our intensity is missing. So when we increase our intensity, then we will see Krishna through our senses, through hearing, through many different senses we can perceive Krishna. This is not very difficult process. Prabhupada has made it so easy for us. And Guru Maharaj has facilitated that and continuously facilitating to hear about him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every day. So we should take full advantage of that. So let's go to the next verse. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 48. Tato yudhishthiro gatva
Tato yudhishthiro gatva
saha Krishno gajahvayam
saha Krishno gajavayam
pitaram santvayamasa
Pitaram
pitaram
Santvayam
shantvayam
Asa
asha
gandharim cha tapasvinim
Gandharim cha
dharim cha
tapasvinim
tapasvinim
tato yudhishthiro gatva
tato yudhishthiro gatva
saha Krishno gajahvayam
saha Krishno gajavayam
pitaram santvayamasa
pitaram shantvayam asha
gandharim cha tapasvinim
gandharim cha tapasvinim
Tato yudhishthiro gatva
tato yudhishthiro gatva
saha Krishno gajahvayam
saha Krishno gajavayam
pitaram santavayamasa
pitaram shantvayam asha
gandharim cha tapasvinim
gandharim cha tapasvinim.
Synonyms. Tata, thereafter.
Tata thereafter
Yudhishthira, Maharaja Yudhishthira.
Yudhishthira Maharaja Yudhishthira
Gatva, going there.
Gatva going there
Saha with
saha with
Krishna, the Lord.
Krishna,
Krishna the Lord
Gajahvayam, in the capital named Gajahvaya Hastinapura.
Gajavayam in the capital named Gajavaya Hastinapura
Pitaram, unto his uncle Dhritarashtra.
Pitaram unto his uncle Dhritarashtra
Santvayamasa, consoled.
Shantvayam asha consoled
Gandharim, the wife of Dhritarashtra.
Gandharim the wife of Dhritarashtra
Cha and
Cha and
Tapasvinim, an ascetic lady.
Tapasvinim an ascetic lady.
Translation, please repeat after me. Thereafter, Maharaja Yudhishthira at once went to his capital Hastinapura.
Thereafter Maharaj Yudhishthira
Yudhishthira
at once went to his capital Hastinapura,
Hastinapura
Accompanied by Lord Sri Krishna, and there he consoled his uncle and aunt Gandhari, who was an ascetic.
accompanied by Lord Sri Krishna, and there he consoled his uncle and aunt Gandhari, who was an
ascetic.
was an ascetic.
Purport.
Purport. Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, the father and the mother of Duryodhana and his brothers, were the elder uncle and aunt of Maharaja Yudhishthira. After the battle of Kurukshetra, the celebrated couple, having lost all their sons and grandsons, were under the care of Maharaja Yudhishthira. They were passing their days in great agony over such a heavy loss of life and were practically living the life of ascetics. The death news of Bhishmadeva, uncle of Dhritarashtra, was another great shock for the king and the queen, and therefore they required solace from Maharaja Yudhishthira. Maharaja Yudhishthira was conscious of his duty, and he at once hurried to the spot with Lord Krishna and satisfied the bereaved Dhritarashtra with kind words from both himself and the Lord also. Gandhari was a powerful ascetic, although she was living the life of a faithful wife and a kind mother. It is said that Gandhari also voluntarily blindfolded her eyes because of the blindness of her husband. A wife's duty is to follow the husband sent person And Gandhari was so true to her husband that she followed him even in his perpetual blindness. Therefore, in her actions, she was a great ascetic. Besides that, the shock she suffered because of the wholesale killing of her 100 sons and her grandsons also was certainly too much for a woman. But she suffered all this just like an ascetic. Gandhari, although a woman, is no less than Bhishma Deva in character. They are both remarkable personalities in the Mahabharata.
Hari Om Tat Sat. So this is another good information that Srila Prabhupada is revealing in the purport. And so what happened after these rituals are over, immediately rushed to the palace of Hastinapura, accompanied by Lord Krishna, and he consoled his uncle and aunt Gandhari and Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was blind from the very beginning. We need to understand that in the Battle of Kurukshetra, the wholesale killing, as Prabhupada says, 100 sons have been killed. Of course, Gandhari and Dhritarashtra, they both have never seen their sons from the very birth, because both were, blind, either artificially or, naturally. They never saw their sons. Maybe Yudhishthira, I heard that she has seen for a moment. And, sorry, not Yudhishthira, what is his name? Duryodhana. So, and so the father and mother of Duryodhana, so that is Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they have lost all, not only their sons, but grandsons also, because everybody come to the battle, just like, Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is the grandson of Arjuna, and he has lost him. So like that. So all the grandsons of the Duryodhana, Gandhari, they have lost. So there is a great intense, agony over such heavy loss of life. They don't, what is his name? Our great ascetic, now he's a devotee, Vasishta. Vasishta, we have seen in this chapter a few verses before that when his 100 sons were killed by Vishwamitra, Vasishta could not tolerate. He's such a great ascetic yogi, and he was a Rajaguru for the Raghu dynasty, and he could not tolerate that agony that he wanted to suicide. He made attempts to suicide, jumping from the mountain, going and falling into the ocean. But the mountain, after jumping, the earth became soft like cotton, and the ocean has returned him back. And all the attempt he made for the suicide, but suicidal attempts were made a failure by the Lord's mercy, that Prabhupada wrote in the purport about Vasishta Muni. So that's one example you can compare with Gandhari. She also lost all the 100 sons along with grandsons also. And she was so stubborn in her asceticism that she is considered an ascetic lady because she is able to tolerate that. She's able to tolerate and get on, in life with Dhritarashtra. So that is why they actually required solace from Maharaja Yudhishthira. So Maharaja Yudhishthira was conscious of his duty, and dutifully he immediately went to attend them as soon as Bhishma Pitama's rituals are completed, and with kind words, and along with Krishna, of course, not that Yudhishthira alone. So Krishna and Yudhishthira both have consoled them. So we are discussing here because devotee and Lord is involved here. And both Krishna and Yudhishthira were trying to console them. And so Gandhari is powerful ascetic because Prabhupada is giving an information that she was following as a chaste lady, that when she found that her would-be husband is going to be, is a blind person by birth, so she also has, tied her eyes that she will never ever see when her husband cannot see. So this is one type of, chastity. There's another wonderful chastity that when husband doesn't have eyes, then wife should use her eyes in order to make her husband's life comfortable. That is how devotee will think. Like Prabhupada used to say that a lame man and a person with vision should coordinate together to make the life successful. Blind man, a blind man and a lame man. Yeah, India is lame and America is blind. So, India should. America is no. India is
no spiritual knowledge, so they are blind.
Yeah, so they are blind of spiritual knowledge,
But
and
materially
they are very well reached. And India is lame materially, but spiritually they are enlightened. So they should go work together by taking advantage of whatever asset each one has in order to lead a devotional life. So that is the exemplary example that Prabhupada used to quote. But here she was to show her taste. She was chaste, not show her. She was really chaste, and she was an ascetic. So due to asceticism, she became blindfolded. So that is mentioned here. And of course, Prabhupada is mentioning here that she's not an ordinary lady. She suffered all this just like an ascetic, because even, we saw that Vasishta could not tolerate, and Gandhar easily tolerated that. So she is no less than Bhishmadeva in character. Okay. So in that way, they are both the remarkable personalities. Bhishmadeva took the O of celibacy, and he took the O of not becoming the king. And he has maintained the oath throughout. That is, he reflected. And similarly, she also took an oath that she will not see when her husband cannot see. And she also maintained that to great extent. So let's go to the last verse of the chapter. Yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 49. Pitra chanumato raja.
Pitra chanumato raja.
Vasudevanumodita.
Vasudevanumodita.
Chakara rajyam dharmena.
Rajyam dharmena.
Pitrupaitamaham vibhu.
Pitrapaitamaham vibhu.
Pitra chanumato raja.
Pitra chanumato raja.
Vasudevanumodita.
Vasudevanumodita.
Chakara rajyam dharmena.
Chakara rajyam dharmena.
Pitrupaitamaham vibhu.
Pitrapaitamaham vibhu.
So, synonyms. Oh, sorry.
Pitra chanumato raja.
Pitra chanumato raja.
Vasudevonumodita.
Vasudevonumodita.
Chakara rajyam dharmena.
Chakara rajyam dharmena.
Pitrupaitamaham vibhu.
Pitrupaitamaham vibhu.
Vibhu.
Pitra by his uncle Dhritarashtra.
Pitra by his uncle Dhritarashtra.
Cha and
And
Anumatha with his approval.
Anumata with his approval.
Raja King Yudhishthira.
Raja King Yudhishthira.
Vasudeva Anumodita, confirmed by Sri Lord Sri Krishna.
Vasudeva Anumodita, confirmed by Lord Sri Krishna.
Sakara executed.
Chakara executed.
Rajyam the kingdom.
Rajyam the kingdom.
Dharmena in compliance with the codes of royal principles.
Dharmena in compliance with the codes of royal principles.
Pitra father.
Pitra father.
Paitamaham forefather.
Paitamaham
forefather.
Vibhu as great as.
Vibhu as great as.
Translation, please repeat after me. After this, the great religious king Maharaja Yudhishthira executed the royal power in the kingdom.
After this,
the great religious king Maharaja Yudhishthira executed the royal power in the kingdom.
Strictly according to the codes of royal principles.
Strictly according to the codes of royal principles.
Approved by his uncle and confirmed by Lord Sri Krishna.
Approved by his uncle and confirmed by Lord Sri Krishna.
Purport.
Maharaja Yudhishthira was not a mere tax collector. He was always conscious of his duty as a king, which is no less than that of a father or spiritual master. The king is to see to the welfare of the citizens from all angles of social, political, economic, and spiritual upliftment. The king must know that human life is meant for liberating the encased soul from the bondage of material conditions, and therefore his duty is to see that the citizens are properly looked after to attain this.
Wait, 1 second. Highest stage.
Highest stage of perfection. Maharaja Yudhishthira followed these principles strictly, as will be seen from the next chapter. Not only did he follow the principles, but he also got approval from his old uncle, who was experienced in political affairs, and that was also confirmed by Lord Krishna, the speaker of the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Maharaja Yudhishthira is the ideal monarch, and the monarchy under a trained king like Maharaja Yudhishthira is by far the most superior form of government, superior to modern republics or governments of the people by the people. The mass of the people, especially in this age of Kali, are all born Shudras, basically low-born, ill-trained, unfortunate, and badly associated. They themselves do not know the highest perfectional aim of life. Therefore, votes cast by them actually have no value, and thus persons elected by such irresponsible votes cannot be responsible representatives like Maharaja Yudhishthira. Thus ends the Bhagavad Gita purpose of the first canto, 9th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Passing Away of Bhishma Deva in the Presence of Lord Krishna.
Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Mugam Karodi Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrupa Tamaham Mandi Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapata Goswami Nitinamine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaurakata Samadaya Nagaragrama Tarine Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desa Tarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are coming to the end of this beautiful chapter, which is like the passing away of Bhishma Deva in the presence of Lord Krishna. So we saw that how Bhishma Deva left his body so gloriously, even though Yudhishthira was taken aback by a little bit grief, a little out of separation. Not that the body, they are very clear that the body is not permanent, okay? And they don't lament, like sometimes we see that momentarily lamentation was put here as a grandson. But sometimes the families, they say that we lament for the whole year, think about that personalities, hang their photo around in the house and meditate on them. They have their own next destination. They are supposed to leave. So it is not advisable to keep the photo of them and look at them and like this, remember all these things. For 1 year we should do this. These are all karmis, okay? But here you see that the exalted lamentation, I'm telling, remembrance can be the default speaker has changed to the headphone.
No.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. No.
They can hear you.
Green
Yeah.
Haribol?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
You are able to hear? Then
Hare
they're
Krishna.
answering.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They-
Wait. Give me this.
Wait. Ask.
It's okay. No, that's it. The chapter came to an end, so let us finish here.
Ask. Go. Can you hear Shantagopi speaking?
Yes, it's audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. That too, beautiful. But of course, remembrance of a few months later, actually, the audience आहा प्रभु को तागिना आचार्य Thakura. So there is a full of mercy. They give prema as a gift and they donate such kind of great personality that they go. Lord, internal potency, is giving this opportunity of devotional service, and that is so very powerful than the exterior energy or inferior nature. How we can say that? How we can see that Krishna is personally present in the devotional service activities? He is getting connected. How we can very easily find that is when we become devotees, we become devotees and we start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and we start hearing about Krishna, not just Krishna alone, is many personalities. See, even if you so much hear about Krishna, then what happens is you don't hear about other devotees who are associated with Krishna. Then what happens is, what other kinds of mukti or being in association with Krishna desire happens in the heart. But when we hear about devotees, then we want to see Krishna along with his devotees, then devotional service manifests in the heart. So you want liberation or devotional service is a question. So if you want liberation, then Krishna immediately can liberate a person. But if you want devotional service, then the pure devotees who are associated with Krishna is expressing the various ways in which they are relating with Krishna and exchanging, having mutual exchanges. So one best example is we become devotees, and after a year or two, gradually we start forgetting the face of those people whom we even lived for many years. Our uncle, auntie, somebody, grandfather, grandmother, somebody we would have seen. Gradually we'll be forgetting, even though we lived with them for a long time. But when we hear a little about Krishna, but we remember Krishna or Guru Maharaj a lot. We hear very little association, maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years only, maximum, or 5 years, that's all. But those whom we lived for 20 years, their face we'll forget, but we'll remember. This is the Shakti, this is the potency, internal potency, Andaranga Shakti. The Andaranga Shakti is called superior energy. And Bahiranga Shakti is called inferior energy. So the superiority of the potency and the inferiority also is also known. Of course, Krishna's external energy is exterior energy, is inferior energy, and Krishna's internal energy is superior energy, Antaranga Shakti. But Bahiranga Shakti, even though we are captivated by Bahiranga Shakti for many, many lifetimes, but when we come in touch with the devotional service, then we very quickly get accustomed, because that is our natural field. That is our natural field. So what kind of personalities whom we hear and talk is very, very important. The Sravanam Kirtanam, or the first connection establishment. So sometimes we see that devoting, they're not talking about Guru Maharaj, they're not talking about personalities who are in the altar. They will go to the lecture during the disappearance or appearance day of the particular personality. They will never talk about that personality otherwise. They have this Prabhu, that Mataji, this Prabhu, like this only. Their consciousness is filled with this kind of information. So very clearly Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that yam yam bhaviswaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam mevaiti kaunteya. So wherever, whatever you think at the time of death you will be achieving that. You will be going to that personality. You will meet that personality again and again. That's how even karma works. Karma also, whom you think, whom you interact, you give and take, either as an enemy or as a friend, or as a relative, or out of emotion. Anyway, you're consciously getting involved in some relationships around you, either as school friends or college friends or neighbors or uncle, auntie, bodily relationship, or wife or girlfriend, or many personalities are around us coming. In our story also, from our birth till death, there will be so many people will be coming around, our manager, our neighbor, our this, that, so many will be around us characters. So this is the reason for our karma bandhana, where we develop, we give and take with them, where either as a friend or as an enemy or as neutral. All three are not considered. In Chaitanya Bhagavat 2 days before, about neutrality is also negated. Krishna consciousness is beyond neutrality. Haridas Thakur was not a friend, not an enemy, not neutral. He was a spirit soul connected with Krishna, and he was interacting with everybody nicely. Very amazing explanation was given. So some yogis and jnanis, see, the materialistic people have likes and dislikes. They like somebody, they don't like somebody, they hate somebody, like this. So for somebody, they don't have much to comment on because they don't interact with. When they interact, certainly they have likeliness or dislikeliness, and the percentage differs, the ratio of likeliness and dislikeliness. There is some, not 0-0. Unknown people, I have never met them, maybe there's 0-0. But those who have met, there is always some connection. So this connection is the one where I give and take, either suffering or happiness to them. And that result I need to yield as a happiness and suffering only. When I give suffering, I yield suffering, and I give happiness, I yield happiness. In this way, this bandhana, this mesh of material existence is binding us so much into this material world. This is happening with a very less intensity of hearing about them first, and then talking about them, then thinking about them, then contacting them with various services. Either they give us service or we give them service. We have mutual exchanges. In this way, it entangles us. This is external energy where we don't belong. We are here, and each of these entanglements give us end result is frustration. Somehow or other, even love is a pain. In many movies and all, they sing love is a pain, love is a pain. Yeah? So, because in this material world, there's no love, only lust is there. Only I make you a servant, or I am your servant. Anyone, otherwise you cannot please the other person. You have to serve him. You stop serving him, they will start pinching you. Any material relationship is like this. Any material relationship you take, you have to serve them. You go to a company, you don't serve, you'll be chucked out the next day. Oh, you don't serve, it's okay. Go and enjoy for some 1 or 2 days, relax. Then you're not feeling well. Okay, you come to the office, no problem, you take rest, we'll pay you. Nobody will say like that. You'll be chucked out of that relationship. Chucked out. If you don't serve them materially, you don't serve them. Or if they don't serve you, they don't have anything in your life. You're expecting them to serve you. So in this material world, searching for true relationship is not at all possible. Not relation, but the same relationship can be converted into spiritualized, then it becomes very powerful, very glorious. How that is? Here we are seeing the relationship with Duryodhana and Bhishma Deva and Pancha Pandavas and Bhishma Deva. Same grandfather, the same kingdom, very expert and very neutral, very, how to say, not partial to anybody, very loving and affectionate grandfather, very expert. And he's a devotee also. And Duryodhana wanted him just in his kingdom. Balam Bhima Virakshitam, Balam Bhishma Virakshitam. He's telling in the first canto, first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, how our army is carefully protected by Bhishma Deva. He's very proud. He wanted. Bhishma Deva is a pure devotee and Duryodhana wanted him. There is an entanglement there he's trying to create. But Bhishma Deva didn't encourage it. He continued to entangle his relationship with Krishna. So these personalities, when we hear about them, just even we can remember, gradually we are forgetting so many other relationships. Physically, we would have associated 1 year, college and all 3 years, school and all 10 years, 20 years, 10 years, 15 years we are studying in school, or same school, maybe we studied 6 years, 8 years. But all those phases are forgotten. All those relationships, conversations in school, no, they'll say, keep quiet, keep quiet. We spoke so much. Yum, 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 yum. Do you remember any of the conversation? Very little we remember. But we had so many conversations. So that is the difference between material speaking, hearing, and spiritual hearing. So in devotional service processes, the devotional service starts with Sravana. So we start hearing about Krishna, about Bhishma Deva, about Kunti Maharani, about Vyasa Deva, these personalities around Krishna, we are gradually hearing. At the same time, we are also hearing about associates of Lord Chaitanya, our Acharyas, Guru Maharaj, their behaviors, their characters, their Nama, Rupa, Guna, Mahima. We are hearing all these things about them. They are absolute personalities because they are absolutely connected with the Supreme Absolute Krishna. They are connected with Krishna. They are not part of the relative world. They are part of the absolute world appearing in the relative world, manifested. They are just manifesting themselves, appearing. They are not birth, death, and like entangled living entities. So when we hear about them, we gradually start seeing them. And we become attached. We develop a deep connection with these personalities. And we discuss about them gradually, Sravanam and Kirtanam. Then we remember about them. So, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram. Whoever you speak, like for example, Guru Maharaj. We are hearing about Guru Maharaj, hearing from Guru Maharaj, we are talking about him. So we'll go back where he is, but one thing is very sure. Wherever he is going, wherever is the eternal residence, two personalities are guaranteed. Guru and Gauranga. Who is Guru Maharaj? Guru Prabhupada. For only Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj is living. Why Guru Maharaj is living? Guru Maharaj expressed in many question answer sessions. Only reason for him living is the order given by the spiritual master and nothing else. So he is living only for Prabhupada. So yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram. And he is a pure devotee of Gauranga, spreading Gaurakatha Damadaya Nagaragrama, spreading the message of Gauranga. So if you become attached to this personality, one thing is guaranteed. Whatever you also remember during time of death, what will I remember during time of death? Also given in Bhagavad Gita, we saw that. Pitrunyanti Pitru Virata, Devani and Deva. So if you are remembering demigod, whoever you are remembering, you are going there. So you remember this personality, you are in touch with absolute truth. This relationship is internal potency connection, not external potency connection. And it can, two things it is doing. One is it liberating you from the material bondage. Yes, you start forgetting the personalities whom you associated. Not, it automatically happens. You're not purposely trying to forget them. You're not purposely thinking, I will forget my school friend. I'll forget like this. If you have to remember, Krishna will make you remember also. But naturally, the anarthas are going off, the karma bandhana, by which we are entangled with uncle, auntie, this, that, and so many relationships. Mother, father, brother, sister, teacher, neighbor, schoolmate, lover, friend. Many relationships, gradually they dissolve into oblivion. We are not able to, a little difficult for us to get it back, but we develop the affection towards this personality, which actually means we'll see them. Which actually means they're we are going to see the person who's connected with Krishna, because that person, his existence itself is for Krishna only. The very existence of Bhishma Deva was for Krishna. The very existence of Panchapandava and Draupadi was for Krishna, his mission. So they are eternally taking association with Krishna in their pastimes. So this is the secret of the internal potency and the external potency. How when we come in touch with devotional service, and especially getting connected with pure devotees, hearing about them and seeing their activities in connection with Krishna, when we see this, when we become attached to this, then we become liberated from this material bondage. At the same time, at the time of death, we go back to that place where all these personalities live, because Vaishnavas never die. They live in sound, where the living spread the Lord's glories, and the disappeared, they are living with Krishna. This is mentioned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The devotee seldom die. There is a poem. He used to write poems. And in that he wrote the poem, the devotee will never die, seldom die. Those who die are with Krishna, and those who live here are spreading Krishna's message. In this way, they are always with Krishna. So we hearing about these personalities is very, very important throughout in Bhagavatam. We'll see various personalities and their connections with Krishna. You see this verses here. You see how Bhagavatam is centered around Krishna. We can see here. Here, after this, there is a scene which is described, okay? After this, the great religious king, Maharaja Yudhishthira, executed royal power. Oh, fine, he executed royal power. Historical information in the kingdom. He executed royal power in the kingdom. Okay, very nice. Strictly according to the codes of royal principles. Oh, very good. He knows the royal principles. Okay, understand. Approved by his uncle. Okay, Bhishma Deva taught him. That is natural. When a senior person is there in the administration, when the kingdom is totally changing and the administration is totally changing, the uncle giving advice is very natural. Okay, fine. But confirmed by Lord Sri Krishna. Every scene there is Krishna. Krishna is the main thread running around in Bhagavatam. That is the difference between any other Vedic literatures and Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the difference? So here, see here, again it is centered. Tato Yudhishthira Gatva Saha Krishno Gajavyaham. So many people were there, great personalities were there. Of course, while coming, all the great personalities' names were mentioned. Many came, thousands and thousands, but only some personalities who are devotees of Krishna, the Munis and Rishis, their names are mentioned. But here, while going back, thereafter Maharaja Yudhishthira at once went to his capital Hastinapura, accompanied by Lord Krishna. There are many people, Panchapandavas, Rishis, Munis, so many are there. The Krishna is a center, that he went with Krishna. So that scene is, in the scene, the most important is this. And he consoled Gandhari, who was ascetic, which actually means Krishna was present at that time when consoling Gandhari. In this way, we see that it's completely centered around this great personalities, and whom we hear and whom we read about, we remember. This is very, very important. That we cannot, Tom, Dick and Harry will come and talk about so many personalities. They'll try to introduce personalities into our life. We should be very, very careful. That simply in the name of Vedic literatures, or simply in the name of, okay, very nice story, I want to speak differently. In this way, we should not get carried away by this, because whom you remember, whom you throughout do remember in your life, only you will remember at the time of death. So you should be in constant touch with Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavatam, all that. So we are getting a single book, including which Chaitanya Charitamrita's all verses are also included in that book. We, of course, now ideally we have Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have Bhagavatam in Krishna book. We have so many personalities coming there, and we see that how everybody is centered around Krishna. And we are not deviated in any way. So our thought process will also be there. So in bodily relationship, we would have developed a 25-year, 30-year, 40-year, 50-year relationship. But when only 3 years, 5 years, we will develop in Krishna consciousness. But still, it can make us forget all the material relationship and seriously take a spiritual relationship as primary. What is the spiritual relationship? There are also gradations. There is Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. So there are many Kanishtas in the movement. So you should not like always remember this. Okay, that Prabhuji, this Mataji did like this. The conditioned soul, when trying to become a devotee, Guru Maharaj always says that this Krishna conscious movement is like a tree. The tree will have also, it's like, take it as a mango tree, as an analogy. Then there are kacha mango also, pakka mango also. There is unripe, raw mangoes. There are very ripe mangoes, and in between mangoes, there are very, very different stages of the maturity or the ripenedness of the mangoes. So this, based on that, there will be. So sometimes we see that the personalities who are kacha mango, they like the raw mangoes because they are raw mango. They like to associate with raw mango because like they think that, okay, like-minded. Okay, fine, you associate. There's nothing wrong. But you should never miss a pure devotee's association. How will we mature? We will mature by associating with mature devotees. Mature devotee is not the person who's showing maturity in a show-off psychological manner, but a pure devotee who has a very sincere disciple of spiritual master. Spiritual master has given specific instructions and he is nicely carrying it out. And especially Srila Prabhupada, among the Srila, right now in our movement, Srila Prabhupada is the founder Acharya and he has given specific instructions, personal instructions, and sincere souls are carrying it out without any envy, without any competitive motive, very sincerely trying their only purpose in life to just carry out that order which is given by Guru Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. No other living purpose of living, no other motive. Just they are living for that purpose. So Guru Maharaj is an exalted example of that. That he got the personal instruction, personal association of Guru, and Guru gave instructions and he's trying to fulfill that. That's it. He told many times the purpose of his existence or life is only that. And Krishna is again and again bringing him from any difficult calamity. It's because that is the only purpose of him living. And this is the greatest of reason for existence in the material world. So others may have some projects, this, that, and their own whatever. They see the common instructions from the books and this thing, I apply personally. Unless otherwise you have a bona fide Siksha Guru, you are in trouble always. So our Guru Maharaj is we are very fortunate to have such an association of such personality who have seen the truth. And he does Bhishma Tarpana during Bhishma Panchaka. So we remember Bhishma Dev. And he also gives us the Hijane Bhagavat, in which now Haridas Thakur pastime is going on. And simply by chanting the name, it is mentioned that anybody who sees Haridas Thakur will become a pure devotee. He will not even have a rebirth. He will become a pure devotee and he will not have any more birth and death. So, and also it is mentioned what to speak of seeing Haridas Thakur. Simply if you see a person who has seen Haridas Thakur. If you have seen a person who has seen Haridas Thakur also. So for that, Guru Maharaj gave a beautiful one-line purport very nicely. He said that Prabhupada went abroad and he established this great international society for Krishna consciousness. And the disciples have seen Prabhupada. So he gives us this clear vision. Our disciple is seeing a pure devotee. Now Prabhupada has seen his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has seen two Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj and Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has seen Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj has seen Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has seen Narottam Das Thakur. Narottam Das Thakur has seen Loknath Goswami and also Rupar Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, 6 Goswamis they have seen. 6 Goswamis have seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 6 Goswamis have seen Haridas Thakur. When Rupa and Sanatana went to Puri, they are also from Muslim background. Even though they were born Hindus, but they were Muslim background. So they were also not allowed. They never tried to enter into Jagannath Puri temple. They lived with Haridas Thakur. So they have seen Haridas Thakur. So anybody who has seen Haridas Thakur, I have seen the person who has seen Haridas Thakur. I can boldly say, because I am seeing Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj has seen Prabhupada. Prabhupada has seen Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has seen Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, and they have seen Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. And then in this way, Sad Goswami, and in this way, we have seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. We have seen a person who has seen Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We see by hearing, we see by seeing the person who has seen him. So this is mentioned in the scriptures, the one who sees and the one who sees the person who sees. So simply Guru Maharaj traveling across the globe, going into various places, he is not deviating from the original subject matter of Krishna consciousness, but just by being his presence, he is benefiting the people. This is mercy of Lord Chaitanya. He is sending such a pure devotee. And he goes into malls. He want to do cycling. He will go into mall. Guru Maharaj will say that I want to go to mall. He will hardly purchase anything. Very little, 1 or 2 items. He will inquire some things. Sometimes he will purchase. Of course, he's not just going to mall. Very nicely he will do. Very little shopping, but whatever is requirement, a little bit. But he will do. And he goes to the public places. So it is mentioned in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that a pure devotees, very, very, very pure devotees like Gopikas, they are singing. Even Gopis are singing these personalities' glories. Gopis are singing some people's glory, which means there is somebody higher than Gopis. That we should understand. Some, as a devotee, somebody, of course, Radharani is the greatest, and Radharani has sincere servants. And the other Gopis who are not in association with Radharani, they are singing the glories. And in that, they are singing about these great personalities. Tavakatamridam tapta jivanam kavibiriditam kalmashabhagam shravana mangalam Srimadattatam Ubigrananti Burita Jana. Singing your glories, they go to the material world where there is full of inauspiciousness. They bring auspiciousness by simply roaming around in the face of earth. So we can see Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, a pure devotee, a sincere disciple and a servant, who is the carrier of the message of our Krishna conscious movement without adulteration, without interpretation. He is adding to the movement, he is expanding the movement. He is not actually living on the movement, but rather there are two people who maintain the movement, another one who just travel on the movement or take advantage and just utilize, not like that, utilizing the name of Prabhupada, rather expanding the name of Prabhupada, expanding the glories of Srila Prabhupada. By expanding the movement further, Guru Maharaj very sincerely, genuinely with this, see his situation, look at his bodily situation, but extending maximum to the maximum level best, he is extending himself. So this are all, we are seeing Guru Maharaj itself is a great boon. We can just see that. If you don't even understand, you can just see. There's nothing wrong. Get attracted to this person, because you need not, nobody need to market getting attracted to Guru Maharaj, because I have seen practically when he came, I became attracted simply. Nobody told me anything about him. But I simply became attracted. First time when I saw him was on a day of Janmashtami in South India. Janmashtami in South India is a little another day, within the same month, in another day. So Guru Maharaj finished somewhere and he came to that, and that day was our shelter. And we saw him on our interview. And then he came to the stage in the Mandapam where the Janmashtami function was held. And he came on the stage. He was so, I don't know why I'm getting attracted. I was attracted. And in my life, I have never danced so much in the public. But Guru Maharaj raised his hand and he was moving the stage here and there, which made a person who is so stone-hearted, who is not joyful, who will not dance in public, who has so much prestige issues, nothing, everything is withered away. Like a child, all of us were dancing, raising the hand, devotee, non-devotee, many new people had come. Just because Guru Maharaj raised his hand and danced, when Guru Maharaj is putting his hand down, everybody is putting down. So the Guru Maharaj had to come in the stage only. He is moving on the left and right, because when he comes to the left, all the women, they are all raising the hand and dancing. And when he goes to the right, then all the men, they are raising their hand and dancing. So Guru Maharaj had to move back and forth. And it is one of the primary anga of bhakti mentioned in the nectar of devotion, that dancing in the front of the Lord. And there was very beautiful Gopala was Abhishek, Guru Maharaj did Abhishek, and in front of that Lord deity, we are all dancing. So he wants to give us spiritual benefit every moment. He's not talking any mundane philosophies. We see that it's just to the point to encourage you in performing devotional service and giving you correct benefits at the right time when you approached him. So we should be very thankful for Acharya Parampara and Srimad Bhagavatam Srila Prabhupada for revealing us these great personalities with whom we can establish connection by hearing the right thing about them. Sometimes we hear it's so painful to hear about pure devotees being vilified. Just to add a drama to the story, They won't tell the truth. They will write some biography and they will add nose, eyes, everything, and psychological manipulation. And as the truth is manipulated, even in their own life, they are not able to project their life in a non-manipulative manner. Like they want to make a movie out of it to add story and like this. The facts are, it's not factual. So it won't give genuine transformation in the heart. So in this world of duplicity and diplomacy, we are having genuine personalities. Because even on Prabhupada disappearance day, somebody asked Guru Maharaj, can you tell some pastimes happened at the Lotus rooftop? He again told the same thing only, whatever he saw, there were many ants going. And Prabhupada was telling, we are seeing this ant to be very insignificant. Same way demigods are seeing us as very insignificant like this. He has told this in many, many lectures, many places here and there, here and there. Same way, one more also, he told that Prabhupada met, Prabhupada was there, Guru Maharaj, and he directly told to Guru Maharaj, this moment I have acquired a lot of property. So don't, see, you may expand, may not expand, but please don't sell off. Many disciples sell off the Guru's property and they live on that, but don't do that. Just if you cannot expand it, buy more property, just protect it. So when Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada were speaking like this on top of Lotus building, there was only some acres, some 10-15 acres, little bit land was there with us, very little land. A temple and 2-3 buildings can be built, that's all was there. But after that, Guru Maharaj has bought an entire city, a big city, acres and acres and acres, so many. I think there's 700 acres, so many acres. Now from government, Guru Maharaj got 740 acres from government. He got approval for ISKCON. They cannot sell it and all, but they can use it for helipad and this and that. And Guru Maharaj was moving it to the government earlier. Some of the government was there, but now the government is favorable and they gave the land now to ISKCON. So Guru Maharaj, taking the personal instruction of Srila Prabhupada and executing and expanding the movement, bringing more properties, not saying that this is mine, Prabhupada said. No duplicity, no diplomacy, no manipulation, original life. Genuinity, simplicity, genuinity. So the same wonderful qualities all acharyas have, straightforwardness, simple and straightforward. In this way, very honest personality. So we must be very thankful for we are not getting any manipulated informations. We are getting as it is original from the Tattva Darshana, and about all these personalities from the purports of Srila Prabhupada, who is also Tattva Darshana. So stick back with the Guru Maharaj and Prabhupada's lectures and our Acharya Parampara's lectures and teachings, and all success will be ours. We will meet all these personalities personally. That is guaranteed. Thank you very much. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So because this chapter is ending, I wanted to give a logical conclusion to this chapter. There are many things which can be spoken about the disappearance, means the last rites and all that. But anyway, Prabhu spoke whatever is required. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Any more questions, comments, or realizations? Kindly share. If you, Rajeshwara Prabhu.
How to ma'am?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Ma'am, I just remember that one time you told that if a person has 100 rupees and if you ask something more from him, then he can only give within that 100 rupees only. If you ask 101, he can't give that. But so we have to associate with pure devotees because they have unlimited mercy, and if you hear from him, so that will melt your heart. That will give you prema.
Yes.
So we are very fortunate that every day Guru Maharaj is to us, and it is very nectar, really. Like sir told that Satyamrita Prabhu asked a question that how can we develop love for Krishna in a moment? So Guru Maharaj told that a baby cries, like if it's crying, dry crying, then the mother, like she won't give like, oh, it's a little bit cry, nothing. Then if a child cries like vigorously, like that, so immediately like mother will leave all her work and just quickly go to the boy and ask like what has happened. So this thing. So we have to cry for Krishna. And if we are not crying, then we have to cry for the reason that's why we are not crying for Krishna. Really amazing.
Jai. Hari Bol. Very, very nice realization. And our face must be, there must be, like we see here, our face must be always around Guru Maharaj only. There are many personality asking questions like this. Many people will come. Gradually, what will happen is, our attention will turn into them and we will get an association, and gradually our remembrance, everything will go towards them, thinking themselves to be senior. That we should be very, very careful. That still our central point of attention is Guru Maharaj only. People may come, people may go. Like here, Bhishma Dev is there. And there are thousands of personalities he sees in his life. This Muni, that Rishi, great Rishi and Muni also. Vyasadev was also there. Vyasadev was, even Vidura's father was Vyasadev. But Vidura's attention was on Krishna. So we should be very careful that the people around him, there may be many great personalities, even demigods are very great. But always we should keep Guru as the center and topmost piece of our attraction. And it's an only pointed attraction. Only pointed attention. So people, in the moment when we start serving, we will come across many personalities. And our personal relationship and affection should be only towards Guru. People may come, go. X, Y, Z may come and go. Despite just because when we enter into the moment, there are at least you people are getting a little association. But when we are with the temple, there are many associations. So we should be very careful that we are just focusing on what the question is and what the answer is and what Guru Maharaj gave the answer. This is very essential for us. Krishna may inspire anybody to ask something, and it's their personal realization. Each one is looting the market of the transcendental nectar and transcendental jewels. We should also start asking questions. And we should also get our answers. In this way, personally, every single individual can develop a personal, individual relationship with Guru Maharaj. This is very, very essential. It is not that somebody is great, somebody is senior, somebody is close. I am not. Not like that. Every single person can yield from the association of Guru Maharaj. So we should be very careful that we are not deviating our attentions into various personalities, but by Guru and Krishna and the various personalities described in the scriptures, we should develop the attachment with these personalities. This is very, very important for us, despite performing service around us. Is that all right? Very nice realization, Deepu. Very nice. But at the same time,
yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Consciousness should be fixed on Guru.
Yes, ma'am, exactly.
Yes. Wonderful realization, Deepu. Wonderful realization.
Thank you. Yes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Thank you very much for your presentation. I would like to see a summary of this chapter from all of you who could summarize, and not what is written in the chapter, but what you have taken. Your realization summary on this chapter, I would like to hear. Maybe you can prepare tomorrow and come and the summary. Shantagopi, what do you say?
Yeah, sure. Next tomorrow or whenever. Now I took extra time because we are finishing the chapter.
Yeah, that is okay. Very nice it was.
Yeah,
Very
so
nice
tomorrow, tomorrow day after they can give. Every day they can give.
Yeah. Tomorrow or day after they can give. So because within this Kartik month, you will get a very nice realizations. So why should we waste your realization?
Yes, especially Bhishma Panchara is coming. So till then we can discuss that 1 or 2 days we can meditate on this beautiful, remember this beautiful realization of Bhishma Dev.
First times of Bhishma with the Lord, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
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 Patita Pavan Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Patita Pavan Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
So tomorrow we will start congregation at 5 o'clock Bhagavatam class.
Bhagavad Satsang ki jai.
Bhagavad Satsang ki jai.
Jai.
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
च
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च
पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमः
नमो नमः